Sunday Night Football, and with that, a chance to win $100,000. Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Jason Mattis with Winning Bets. Thanks for hanging out with me on this episode. That's right, it's Sunday Night Football, the game that we absolutely love, and in the NBC Sports Predictor app, they give us a chance to win $100,000 if we can correctly answer 7 questions on the game. Otherwise, if nobody can do it, they'll give away a guaranteed $5,000 prize for the group of people that can get the most right. Last week, we did fairly good in this game. We got 35 points, which just missed cashing by 10 points. So we were right on the edge. We get one other question right, and we're putting some money in our pocket. So we're right on the doorstep. We did good. Like I said, we got the Big Ben passing TDs, and we got that right. We got the Stephon Diggs number of receptions right. We got the player to score the last TD of the first half we got right. We got the player with the most third quarter yards right. And then, of course, we correctly predict the winner, the Bills. So just a really good, solid week. Just barely missed cashing. We'll look to do better. As you guys know, we cashed on week 1 in the NFL. So let's see if we can't do a little bit better in cash this week. This weekend's matchup is against the Browns and the Giants. All right, so question 1 is Baker Mayfield. What's going to be his passing yards and passing TDs? Well, Baker Mayfield is averaging 223 yards on the season with 1.8 TDs per game. He's gone 3 straight games now with at least 2+ TDs. But before that, he had 3 straight games with 0 TDs. Otherwise, he's had a TD in every game. But there's a little bit of caveat there. Those 3 games he went with 0 TDs. You guys remember Cleveland went through that stretch where they played 3 straight home games, and it was just like the worst weather you had ever seen. I mean, one of those games was against the Texans. I think the final score was like 10-6 or 10-7, something like that. So the 3 games that he didn't get a touchdown in a row, at least you can chalk them up to that was just some really bad, winter Cleveland weather was going on right there. So meanwhile, if we look at the Giants side, they're giving up 242 yards per game in the air, and they're allowing 1.4 TDs per game. The thing that maybe favors Baker Mayfield having a good day is the Giants have the number 7 rush defense. We know the Browns have a really good rushing offense, but the Giants can equal that with a really good rush defense. So because of that, I'm going to go ahead and say Baker Mayfield gets 230 to 264 yards, and he'll get 2 more touchdowns. Question 2 is Daniel Jones rushing yards and passing yards. Hopefully Daniel Jones plays. I'm not sure what they're going to do with this question if he ends up, not being able to play to Colt McCoy. But it looks like right now his game status is truly 50-50. But we'll just go ahead and see, answer it based on him playing. Last week you saw when he did play, due to that hamstring issue, he was limited. He got 0 rushing attempts, which is the first time that has happened. So to predict that if he does play, he's still hampered by the hamstring, and now he's got an ankle injury on top of that. I can't see him doing really much running at all. But in terms of him passing, he averages 239 yards per game. The Browns allow 249 yards per game. So to answer this one, I'm going to say less than 20 yards rushing, and I'm going to put his passing at 200 to 224 yards. Question 3 is Nick Chubb. What's going to be his rushing yards and rushing touchdowns? Well, he averages 98 yards and 1 touchdown per game. He's gone 3 games with 0 TDs, and he's had 3 games with 2 TDs, though. In 5 of the 9 games that he's played, he's had 100+ yards, so that's really good. His lowest output is 43. He got hurt in that game, so that justifies a 43 output. So if you remove the 43-yard output, and if you remove the 60-yard output in the opener, because in that game they lost 38-6, so they had to abandon the run to try and claw back in that game. So remove those 2 low outputs, he averages 111 yards per game. The thing in terms of his touchdowns, though, Hunt takes away TDs from him in the red zone. Hunt is more of the power back, so he'll steal. I mean, Chubb obviously gets his fair share of touchdowns, but Hunt has been known to take away red zone touchdowns from him. And then the Giants, as I said, they have the number 7 rushing defense in the league and allowing 102 yards per game. I'm going to slot Nick Chubb in at 85 to 104 yards, and he'll get 1 touchdown. The next question here is who's going to score the first TD of the game? A question we've gotten right on a few of these games so far this year. Chubb has 9 TDs on the season, as we just talked about. Kareem Hunt has 10 TDs, 5 passing, 5 rushing. Landry has 2 TDs, and any other player for the Browns has 19 TDs from 8 players. The Giants, Gallman has 6 TDs, Slayton has 3 TDs, Tate has 2 TDs, and any other player for the Giants will get you 12 TDs from 8 players. A few notes here. Landry, he's got 43 more targets than the next player on the Browns. That is really staggering. And his 2 TDs, while they are low, he's only had 2 TDs on the season. They've come in the last 3 games, though, so that's certainly noteworthy. In terms of how do you pick, though, between Chubb and Hunt? If you're between these 2 players, because the Browns certainly do love the ball, or love to run the ball, that is their strength, how do you pick it? Do you just pick one and hope and pray? Well, the edge here could be that Kareem Hunt has been used in the passing game a lot more than Nick Chubb. He's got 42 targets where Nick Chubb only has 10 targets. We mentioned he steals also touchdowns away from Chubb a little bit there in the red zone. If you look at the Giants here, Gallman, you no longer have to worry about Daniel Jones, though, stealing rushing TDs away from him with his legs. I mean, even if Jones plays, we saw last week, if he plays, he's clearly hampered by this injury. So I think if you pick Gallman, you don't have to worry about Daniel Jones stealing a rushing touchdown away from him. Slayton, he's number 2 on the team in targets. Ingram is number 1. Tate is number 4 on the team in targets. I'm going to go ahead and say Kareem Hunt on this one. Look, I like that he's used in both the passing and the running game. That bodes really well. And as I mentioned, he does steal some touchdowns away from Chubb. I mean, Kareem Hunt is a legit red zone threat. So used in both the passing, running game, red zone threat. Browns also really like to run the ball. I'm going to go ahead and take a chance that when they're on the field, maybe Chubb is getting a little bit of rest. So go ahead and give me Kareem Hunt as the first TD scorer. What's going to be the longest play there of the first half? Well, you guys know how I feel about this question. I think this one's an absolute guess, and it takes a lot of luck to get it right. I'm going to go ahead and say 30 to 34 yards. Man, what really tight windows that they give you to pick from. Question 6 is, what's going to be the player with the most third quarter receiving yards? Guys know we get this one right several times this season. I mentioned we even got it right last season. To me, it all comes down to targets, because I think you can easily predict where the ball is going to go. You may not be able to predict when the ball is going to go there in terms of which quarter, but you know who the quarterback is looking at. So we've been successful using targets. We'll obviously use that again. So Landry, we know that he leads the team in targets. Mentioned that earlier. He has 56 yards per game to go along with a team-high 87 targets, which is 43 more than the next person. So we don't need to break down any more Browns players based on how I answer this question. Let's move on to the Giants. For the Giants, Ingram leads the team in targets, but by 13, and he's number 3, though, on the team in yards. I'm going to go ahead and say Landry. In his last 3 games, he's gotten 9, 10, and 11 targets. So that's really good production there by Landry. Go ahead and give me Landry. And question 7, as we know, is what's going to be the winner and what's going to be the win margin? Well, look, I think the Browns are better both offensively and defensively. This is a Browns team that nobody wants to face. I mean, they have the formula to be dangerous in the playoff. They bring a good defense into town, and they bring a really good running game into town. So this Browns team, even though they lost on Monday night, against the Ravens, they're looking good. They're looking scary. Nobody wants to draw this team in the playoffs. I think they're going to get it done here against the Giants. Doesn't matter if it's McCoy or Daniel Jones. I like the Browns in this game. I like the Browns to win this game by 10 to 11 points. Really tight windows they give you, but we can only work with what they give us, and I'll give it 10 to 11 points. All right, guys, that's how I'm going to round on my chances to win $100,000 on Sunday Night Football on the NBC Sports Predictor app. Go ahead and like this video. Hopefully I've been of help to you. That is always my goal, is to help you guys cash and win the money. Like this video and tell your friends if I've been of help. Otherwise, I'll see you guys on the next contest. I'm Jason Mattis.
Thanks for watching this episode of Winning Bets. I'm Jason Mattis. I'll see you again when we are celebrating the wins and making more winning bets. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more winning bets.